What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to G-Miles World Podcast. Today we're going to be taking a look at Week 7, Thursday Night Football 2022, Saints, Cardinals. A lot was going on in this game. We're going to get to the fact that Dennis Allen is trying to pull a Ron Rivera and just throw his quarterback under the bus. Do I like it? Yes, it's exciting, but it is what it is. Dennis Allen actually said Dalton's 3 interceptions were killers in the Saints' collapse. Now, this is a new era, right? Where coaches are just saying whatever they want to say and they don't care. But in their defense, they're actually telling the truth. When you take a look at what happened with Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera, I don't think the guy was lying. You tell me, was he lying? But what happens is when players and coaches tell the truth, it becomes a very, very bad situation because we live in a time where the critique is usually taken as like it's like a form of bullying or something like that, right? But these are grown men. And Andy Dalton has been out here stinking it up for a very, very long time. He's a journeyman at this point, just left Dallas. Now he's here stinking up the joint. Jameis Winston, maybe when he comes back, the Saints will have a little bit more life. But again, I don't know how to feel about it because this is like, I'm trying to think, when was the last time I actually saw this? Like back when football was extra violent and people were getting smashed and dudes are walking around with their brains hanging off the side of their helmet with a concussion. I still don't remember a time where coaches were outright just verbally degrading their players after games or during halftimes. And I don't know if they think that these players are mentally able to deal with it because it's not the same thing. Even though the game was more violent, the coaches were more inclined to not badmouth the star players. And I'm not saying that Andy Dalton is a star player, but he is the quarterback right now. So maybe you do it because you feel that Jameis Winston will be back. But once you do that to your players, they don't really respect you in the same sense. It's sort of like you got to keep certain things in-house and, try to figure it out without saying anything. Because this right here, I think, everybody already knows. And I've been saying this for a while. Andy Dalton has been trash for a while. Even when he was playing with AJ Green, all that stuff, like he's always been bad. But he got away with it because he had, decent receivers and stuff like that he could get away with. The 6'4" AJ Green in his prime was like, dude, he was top of the line. So you can get away with that. A lot of quarterbacks got away with that. Dante Culpepper with Randy Moss. The dude's trash, but he was able to throw the ball far, and Randy Moss was a speedster. So a lot of combinations work, and if you can get something working, it's fine. But what happens is when you get into a situation like this where the Cardinals are running hot and, they get a pick, then they get another pick, dudes are picking it off. I'm like, yo, dude, what's going? It's just way too many picks. Isaiah Simmons running pick sixes back. Like, dude, stop throwing picks. But again, when you get into that type of fire, you have to be able to put it out. Andy Dalton is not that kind of player to be able to put that fire out. So I understand the frustration with Dennis Allen saying that, his 3 interceptions were killers and, in the Saints collapse, but I'm not sure if he's the only reason. Because you shouldn't be putting your game plan around him like that. He's not good. So you have to understand that and analyze that. You cannot do that. Okay? So again, with everything that went on, am I for coaches telling the truth? Yes. But in a certain way. Because again, the Saints right now, we didn't think they were going to do anything anyway. So this is not a surprise. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, the Saints are losing. We already knew that they were not going to be that good. But this is really, really bad. Because now it's kind of like a disconnect with the locker room type thing. And although we can say whatever we want, I do a podcast, several of the podcasters will say Andy Dalton is the worst quarterback. That's fine. But when the coach is like outright blaming him, that may not work. It's hilarious, but it may not work. Now, let's get into what really happened, what I saw, right? Kingsbury and Kyler Murray got into a heated dispute, right? And I don't know what was actually happening right there, but it looked like he was raging. Now, look, let me just go ahead and say this, right? Those type of visuals, it's not viewed the same depending on who the quarterbacks are. Like Tom Brady's on the sideline going wild on his offensive line after he just flew in by himself. He wasn't with the team, stuff like that. It doesn't come off the same way. So what I'm saying is this, right? Although Tom Brady has a lot of accolades and he's done this, he's done that, he's like the greatest quarterback ever, it's still, the visual still, it's like we're trying to figure out, like, what are they arguing about? What are they raging about? But it was something about the way Kyler Murray did it. I was like, yo, dude, you're garbage. Like, right? Like, I'm not saying he's like outright trash, but listen, he had a contract where they said he had to actually watch film. Okay? He's a guy that, without DeAndre Hopkins coming back, he hasn't really been doing much. So I don't see the reason why he should even be that animated. And what was hilarious about it was Kingsbury, he downplayed it because that's a star player versus the other idiot from the Panthers that just got traded, that was running his mouth and going crazy and got sent, to the sideline. No, he got sent back to the locker room this past Sunday. But I don't know what that was, but they would have still won the game even without that. And the reason that I'm bringing this stuff up is because it's actually hilarious, because the dude is like 4'2", Kyler Murray, right? He's running around like Mighty Mouse, and in most cases, he's gonna let you down. But he's running, I think his confidence was raised because DeAndre Hopkins coming back, 14 targets. He caught 10 passes for 103 yards in his debut back after the suspension, right? So I think he was just riding high with it. But again, I'm an old school type of dude, bro. Like, when you start going crazy like that, I don't care if you're a star player. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, dude, you want to play Call of Duty. You don't even want to be here. Like, you're worried about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Like, bro, what are we doing right now? Again, sometimes the animations are cool on the sideline, and sometimes in this case, I viewed it as something that we could have went without having. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't need that aspect of the game, and we got it anyway. So thank you to Kyler Murray for doing it, because it was absolutely unnecessary, in my opinion. All right? Now, let's focus on DeAndre Hopkins, okay? There was a few times in this game where he didn't get certain calls that he usually used to get. I don't know if the league is just like, you know what, bro? I don't care, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be, because it doesn't look like they were flagging and giving him those same calls as a star player. All right? So, in all honesty, I got to figure out exactly how we're going to do this. The Cardinals, are they going to make the playoffs? They can still do it. Okay? Is DeAndre Hopkins still a star receiver? I believe so. He's still DeAndre Hopkins. He made some catches. I was like, yo, what in the F? Like, I actually said it out loud. Like, bro, people look at me like, what? Because he's still that good. The problem that I have with the Cardinals is when Kyler Murray doesn't have it going and they start, playing for him specifically, where they start, containing the edges and, putting a couple dudes drop back coverage, like confusing the coverages type thing, he just throws picks. So I got to wait to see. And that's what I'm saying. It's a lot that was going on. Yeah, they won the game, right? The Cardinals won the game, but was it all because of DeAndre Hopkins coming back and boosting his confidence, or was it something else going on? I don't know, bro. But I'm going to tell you this again, guys. Just be on the lookout for how this continues to work out with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler, because the way he was acting, I think his confidence is really high, but he needs to tone it down. Like, he has to go to his thermostat for gangster, where it actually says gangster, and just turn it down, bro. Like, it was way too high. And that part, for me, just visually, it's a respect issue. That's your head coach. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I never, even with Randy Moss being a weirdo, like, he was doing wild stuff. Like, everybody know he was doing stuff off the field that was crazy. He had some wild things where he did to the Packers, where he, acted like he took a dump on him and stuff like that. He didn't really, I don't remember him going crazy like that on his head coach. I could be wrong. I know he went to the Raiders and he fell apart. I know he wouldn't do it with Bill Belichick. And I don't think he was doing it with any of the coaches of the Vikings. Like Jerry Rice, I don't think so. Tom Brady and the head coach, I never seen him do it with any of his. Like, the head coach is different than the other coaches, is what my point is. And he just went right to the top. And you can't degrade. Like, it just looked degrading, bro. And that really turned me off. So I don't know what Kyler Murray's doing. Like I said, Kingsbury, he downplayed it. It is what it is. All good and well. Handle your business. But I don't really feel that was necessary. But they did win the game. They looked good defensively, offensively, stuff like that. So I can't really go crazy with it. But it did take DeAndre Hopkins to mellow him out. Like, yo, it's okay, bro. Like, what? Dude, that's your head coach. But whatever. I don't really see them having a decent future if they can't figure that out. So somebody's going to have to get fired. The funny thing is, Cliff actually wanted Kyler. I don't even know. Bro, these dudes nowadays, I don't even know what they're into. It doesn't really matter. But I got to go ahead and give you guys an olive branch if you guys are Saints fans, right? Jameis Winston coming back, it's like he's trash, but he's not ready to go out yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, when your trash day, you put it out the night before. Jameis Winston's like that trash that's not stink, but just stays around the house and you could wait to put it out. I don't really think he's going to do anything to really help the Saints. You might as well just start Taysom Hill a quarterback again. Stop making him be an all-purpose guy and just start him and let him do that. That's what I feel. If for any hope for the Saints, but I don't know exactly where that team is headed, and we have to wait to see how it's going to work out. But again, The game was won direct. The Cardinals, once they got that first pick, they were supposed to go up 14-3. Dalton threw that pick, it was over. So it's a momentum type game. Again, we have to wait to see how the Cardinals work it out. But it was an enjoyable game with the exception of a lot of rage and stupidness going on. And we'll see how it goes, how this progresses for the rest of the season. But I don't think Jameis Winston coming back is going to really help the Saints. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Hopefully you had a great day. You can listen to me on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and here on YouTube at G Miles World Podcast. Enjoy your day. Until next time. One love, y'all.